Okay guys, so you have your 1-inch grid drawn out in your sketchbook and you're going to choose from one of these images on the screen. I've went ahead and already put a 1-inch grid on the image for you so you don't have to do that. And some of you can draw it right off your screen, and if you are coming to school you can also have a printout to use, whichever you prefer. So the key thing here first before we even get started, we need to make sure we actually understand the concept of one box, one box. So if you line this up here, you can see this box will be drawn here, and you should have, some of the pictures might be different, but I think they're 8 by 10s, so all of them are 8 across and then 10 up and down. This box right here will be here, and you should have 2 extra boxes at the bottom of your paper, could be at the top of your paper, whichever, that you're not going to use. So you want to make sure before you even get started, the first thing is go ahead and mark these boxes out that you're not going to use. Just to remind yourself that there won't be anything in those boxes. Okay, now, when you start drawing, don't start with shading. Just keep it simple. Just keep it simple lines to start with. So pick a box, and I like to start in this upper right-hand corner, and just don't worry about anything else. Just totally focus on this one box. You could start on the left-hand corner, whichever you prefer. We'll start right here. So there's a little black triangle. It's got a little bit of a curve to it. There's that triangle right about here. And I can zoom in so you don't need to look at any other part here. So right about here, I would say that's right about here. We have an edge that goes across the top of the box. And then beside it, we have a second edge where it goes from like kind of gray to white. And then that one sort of curves down a little bit, comes back. And then we have this curve right here, which does something like that. And that box is done. I wouldn't shade anything yet. And listen, if you use this system, one box at a time, in the long run, it's easier than just trying to draw it and sort of use the grid roughly as a guide. Next box down. This line continues on. This line continues on. And then you can use the next box as a guide to test your first box. It looks like it crosses right about there. So maybe right here. All right. And it looks like there's this black triangle shape right here. I can go ahead and draw that black triangle shape in. Those triangle shapes are really good to kind of help you get your bearings in the box. That comes across. It looks like this petal has another edge on the inside where it's lighter. Does something about like that. And even though I don't shade, I might go ahead and just kind of, these dark boxes, go ahead and put some rough shading in them now just to remind myself that those are the black boxes. All right, let's move on down to the third box. And what you need to tell yourself while you're doing this is that you're not drawing a flower. Don't try to think about drawing a flower. Instead, try to think about drawing just what's in the box. It's just random, just shapes. When you get done, it might be a flower. Who knows? Right now, you're just drawing what's in the box. And we got this white triangle right here. That's a really nice little white triangle to help us get that organized. And if you do this, when you finish, you're going to have a way more accurate drawing than if you just started like just drawing all over the place. If you get kind of bored of working boxes this way, you could go work somewhere else. Like I could switch over to this side, and you know you're using all the boxes across. Sometimes people will label like 1, 2, 3, and then up here say this is 1, 2, 3, and this is like A, B, C. So this would be A, B, C. That's a possibility. You don't necessarily have to as long as you kind of pay attention to where you're at. But this box will be here. Now remember, you're using all the boxes across the top. So every box, so this box, that's 2 down, first one that's right here. So guys, get everything drawn out first before you start shading and adding texture. You don't really need a lot of detail in texture or shading until you have it all drawn out. And you're going to have a lot of time to do this. Usually in class, we spend about a week drawing and about a week shading and adding texture. So next week, by the end of the week, I'm going to ask you guys for an update to show me your drawing to see how much you've got done. Should have it drawn. So you're going to have 2 grades on this assignment. You're going to have a drawing grade, and then you're going to have a shading grade. So the drawing grade is kind of like an update to show me that you've drawn it, and the shading grade is the final grade, adding textures and shading. So don't start with shading. You want to show me just the drawing first. When you get it drawn, photograph it. All right. See ya. Have a good weekend.